overall, I think we've done a very good job at outlining our presentation and combining it with a nice even flow. So bear with us as we start this meeting. I'll ask the presenters for both F90 and F99 kind of come up and take their designated spots on the floor. So one, so everybody can see you on the camera, and two, that your voice can be heard over the telephone piece that is placed at the front of the room. So I wanted to get us started. So welcome. Let's try to hit to an hour. We got a lot of topics to run through, both at each location level, and then also some things that impact us jointly across both operations. So let's get started with Protect Our House. So this is, as I told F99 in the past, this is one of my favorite topics to hit on every month. And why not start with two of our national MVPs, Leroy Quiller from F99 and Jennifer Hutto from F90. So I think by now you've all received the Protect Our House flyer that Scott Ruler sends out on a quarterly basis for the Fire Protection Division. It's mailed to your homes. And what a bunch of great stories in there at the retail level with our self-performing operations, also at the national account level with stories from Leroy and Jennifer. So I wanted to throw this up there. Hopefully by now everybody's got that, they've read it. I know we haven't posted on our POH board here at F99, and I'm sure Stan's done something similar down there to recognize Jennifer, but let's take a quick minute to give a round of applause to Leroy and Jennifer. Okay, two slides. We're going to hit on F99 POH stories, and then we're going to hit on F90. So let's start with F99. We'll go around the horn. So presenters, if you want to quickly run up through here and jump on the comment square, do an acknowledgement on the partners here. We'll flip it over to Stan, let him do the same down there. So we'll start with Scott Quall.
Hello. So in the house this month, I want to recognize Bob Guthrie. Bob Guthrie is F99 service manager. He oversees our trade specialist. Everyone in this room knows, and F90 will find out as they start to get to know him. He truly is a go-to guy for everyone here. He's our content expert. When we have a question, he's always got an answer. He always steers us in the right direction. So I just want to recognize you, Bob. You do a great job for me as well as this team. So congratulations. All right, good morning, everybody. This month we're recognizing Sean Chastain. Sean's the CSR for us, handling the western region of the United States. But as a result of Ruby Tuesday moving over to Service Channel the last couple of months, phased rollout there, Sean has kind of completely taken the lead on that from an account management standpoint, and been a real go-to guy as far as that goes. We're really proud of him and his work ethic there, staying late each night, make sure that customer's taken care of. So, thanks, Sean.
Hi guys, at F90, this is Holly from F99. I wanted to recognize Steve Brewer and the rest of the team who has been so instrumental in helping me during the past month on trying to get all the, I call them, alligators hit on the head as we drain the swamp on invoice automation. Katie and the team, they show up in my office at least 3 times a day that, hey, we could do this, hey, we could do that, hey, did you know this, hey, did you know that, and it's just absolutely astounding things that we've done in the last month. So, Katie, Donnie, Pam, thank you.
Nice job.
Hey guys, Kyle Wilson. Wanda's actually not here today, but I just want to recognize Wanda for her drive and her passion for being here. She is always really very in our company for she's doing research between work hours and letting us know new stuff about her and how it's better our company. So she's not here, but she's here. Congratulate her and thanks a lot.
Okay, what's up, Ramona? Wanted to recognize the JT customer specialist team. Ruby Tuesday, Lord, 720 accounts. There are 720 location accounts for us. We have the right here, there is that team since their holiday season, updated prices. Really went above and beyond to my only
Okay, Dan, that's all we have from F99. Let's look at down here, some great stories from F90.
All right, thanks, Carl. So, just to introduce myself, I think I've met most of the partners at F99. If I haven't met you, my name is Dan Sim. I'm the general manager down at our Fort Myers location. And before we get going, I just want to take a minute to introduce some of the people who are going to be talking today, as well as just show you our team here. So, Fort Myers is known as Retirement Central USA, if you will. Things move typically a little bit slower around here, but we were able to find, with Grace's hard work in our HR department, 60 some odd partners that work extremely hard. They're a very dedicated team, very engaged, and they really work their tail off for us. So I want to show you Dan Jeffrey, our operations manager, who will be talking here shortly. He's over there off to the side. And then the rest of our team here at the back, this is our team at F90. So they're about as engaged as they usually are. It's another bright, sunny day in Southwest Florida, so they're just, that's our usual pace around here. All right, so just a little bit of fun this morning, but in all seriousness, we do have all of our partners work extremely hard down here, and we want to recognize a couple of them for their recent efforts. Frank, we rolled in an account recently called Connor Group, and the account was really in disarray in terms of what their organization among their facilities throughout the United States before they came to us, and it took a lot to bring them along to the party. And Fran Ryan has done an excellent job on the account management and implementation side of this account. So we'd like to recognize her for her efforts. So thank you, Fran. Very nice job. Additionally, Liz Bennett, who also works on Connor Group, went through over 700 work orders dispatched this month and is managing to stay on top of all of them. So that's an outstanding achievement for one of our relatively newer partners. So thank you, Liz. Connor Group was so much fun to roll out that we're actually recognizing another partner that had a key role in making it a smooth transition, all while managing to maintain a 35+ margin on that account, right, Barb, through the first month, with some very competitive pricing in the Atlanta market. So, Barb, thank you very much for all that for you. Now, they're not on the call today, but we wouldn't have been able to do this without some of our friends in the field, specifically Roy Jeffers, the GM at the 227 location there in Atlanta. They did an outstanding job. So while they're not on the call, we certainly think it's appropriate to recognize them for all their hard work. F99, you guys should have the privilege of dealing with a lot of our Cintas locations coming up here in the near future. And certainly the support that you can get from 227 is going to be excellent. We're confident in that. Next, we'd like to, our hardworking operations manager, Dan Jeffrey, is going to come up and talk about our consolidation and collections.
That's our boss.
So a little CPR. We started the year out with our bad debt reserve just being absolutely ridiculous, and our consolidated collections team has worked incredibly hard to bring that down. So we actually reduced our bad debt reserve by a total of almost $220,000 over the year. And I'd just like to recognize the partners that are part of that: Tatiana Herrera, Justin Onson, let's see, Hoyt Goodine, who else? Lori Clark, Ryan Engelman, our famous MT that was able to pull off an amazing feat after the end of the fiscal year. He didn't quite get there before the fiscal year. And finally, they're all led by the superb leadership of Suzanne Herron. So thank you to the customers.
Thanks, Dan. And we're so moving into our financial results. So we've got the top slide there. How do we come to profit? What are the two things that make up profit? Revenue minus cost, right? And so when we look at, after our top line being our revenue, what's our biggest cost? Affiliates, right? And what percent of our revenue do we pay towards our affiliates? 65%, right? So how much of the pie is left for us? 35%. And then who else do we have to pay after that? Us, right? And what else do we have to take care of after we pay our affiliates? Our bills, right? The bill man's coming. So if we take into how much our labor is, as well as all the overhead, electrical, all the stuff that we need to operate a business, how much money do we spend on all that? And it's a percent of our total revenue. 20%, right? Yes. So, David, if you could go to the next slide. Exactly. So then that, after we pay our affiliates, right, and after we pay ourselves, and after we take care of our building and everything else that's going to roll into that, what percent does that leave us with? 15%, right? But there's still people out there that we got to pay. There's more people. Our GAMs, right? And our sales force. And how much of the piece of the pie do we dedicate towards our sales force? 5%, right? And then that leaves us ideally with a profit of what? 10%, right? Okay, so we're going to go into our financial results, but before we do, what's the #1 public enemy of revenue? There's a couple things that make up revenue, right? It's business from last year. Lost business, right? That's the #1 public enemy. We just can't have it. You guys have done a tremendous job at mitigating lost business over the last 10 months. And I feel comfortable not having knock on wood because I know that our team's just that excellent in delivering the service that we need to maintain and grow our current customer base. And that's been the theme of what we've seen really for the second half or the majority of FY13, and that's what we're going to continue to see in FY14. They're going to help us meet some of the projections that we're going to put up here in a little bit. So, in terms of May financial results, we came up again a little bit shy of that magical $2 million mark that continues to elude us, but we're going to certainly track that down this year, later on in the year, and overcome that goal and do it a couple months in a row. So, what did we say our desired margin was in that calculation? 35%, right? Where did we finish with May? Just shy, right? What was our percent? Yeah, so just shy of 39 there. Now, so is that good? Is it? Yep. I think it's good, right? Well, compared to our projections, what we were expected at 34.02 is better than that, right? Is it as good as we want it to be? No. Absolutely not. But we're going to continue to drive. So what things do we do to drive that margin? Negotiations with affiliates. Our audit process is a big piece of that, right? The efforts at F99, if you'll remember back in towards the earlier part of FY13, we went through a huge volume transfer project, right? Where we took a lot of a great sum of our work and moved it towards Cintas locations, and we're able to do that because we're able to recognize better margins when we do it in-house versus paying someone else to do it, right? It makes sense. So F99 is doing that same volume transfer right now, which is going to help us come to an overall better margin when we roll up together. Because the reason behind this meeting, why we're sharing webcamming and everything with F99s, we are one team. We're 2 locations, but one organization, right? And our numbers are going to merge together, and those are going to represent our goals as a team. So Sean is dedicating a lot of her time to some of the volume transfer effort that's going on in F99 right now. But getting back to our financial results, so we've got audit, we've got making sure that we select the right affiliate, right? That's huge. Now, not only for our annuals, but last month we talked about specifically for service calls, right? Thank you, Glenda. Yeah, service calls were hurting us a little bit because we get put in a bind when it's an emergency situation a lot of times, when they're saying, I need somebody out there right now, and it's, it's 11 o'clock on a Saturday night, the on-call guys have got the phone, and we're just trying to take care of the customer, right? Which we absolutely have to do, and that's gonna continue to be our most important objective, is to take care of our customer and exceed their expectations. But while we do that, we also have to simultaneously take care of ourselves and make sure that we're making money to stay in business. And so making sure that we're finding the right person to go out if we have options. So those are sometimes difficult situations, but ensuring that we're going through that thought process and asking ourselves, are we hiring the best value affiliate for each situation? Excellent. So expenses here is, the format's a bit different than our calculation, but the expenses here represent all of the overhead, all of the G&A, and all of the selling expenses. So all of us, our sales team, and all the overhead that go into represent $497,000. So is that good?
Yes.
We did project a much higher amount, right? So what does that leave us with in terms of profit? Total amount, what do we, in profit, what do we come away with? $166,000, right? Excellent. And as a percent, that's 8.61%. Is that good? Exactly. It's good, but we're not satisfied. And I think that's the theme of this month's results. You guys did a hell of a job, and you busted your hump to do it, and I appreciate that. That's certainly not lost on anybody. But we have goals that are beyond this, and I think our projections are going to show that. So fantastic effort throughout the end of the year. I couldn't be prouder of you guys, and we're about to enter into a tough time of year, right? We've talked at great length at what we did for the first quarter last year. How did we do?
Terrible.
Yeah, terrible. We lost money. That's not good. That's not going to happen to us again. But again, that's going to require us, that means that we're going to have to be better today than we were last year. And I believe we are. Excellent. So next slide, please.
It is the next one.
Oh, okay, thank you. Sorry, yeah. There we go. So David Parker, for those of you that don't know him, he can actually read my mind. And I'm just trying to catch up to him. So, how did we do as a year total? Top line, what do we got there? Right, so certainly significantly shy of that end result, of the projection, right? Almost north of $4 million. So that puts us in a tricky situation, right? Because when we say we're going to go out and we're going to get some top line, there's decisions that we have to make to support that, right? If we go and we close $1 million account today, and then we go hire somebody 2 weeks later to take care of that account, is that going to go smoothly?
No.
Right. So we have to prep for the sales that we believe are going to be coming in, right? Otherwise, we're not going to be able to take care of our customer, and we're going to lose them, and we're going to be back to where we were. So when we experience a top line shortage like that, it makes it difficult because we've made plans for some growth that we were expecting, right? So you as a team have done an excellent job at being agile and adjusting to the changes that we've had to make this year because of some top line shortages. So when we look at margin overall, what's our margin overall? Just north of 33% there? Yeah? And what were we projected at? Okay, so overall for the year, we weren't where we wanted to be. But where have we been for the last 6 to 9 months? As we've talked, I mean, we've been killing it. 38%, we've had 37, 36.3. Absolutely killing it. So when you look, while the year total is not where we wanted to be, that doesn't tell the full story because we've been trending tremendously more positive than we were at the start of the year. Now, it wasn't enough to make up for our poor start, but what it does is it sets us up for success for next year. And we're seeing some of those margins come through again this month, right? does anybody remember what yesterday's total was, what revenue we did? $109,000. And what was the margin that was at? What was it?
41.
41, exactly. I think it was it 41.8? 41? So, an excellent job, and we're seeing some of those margins continue, which is why I'm so optimistic about how we're going to perform this upcoming year. Now, expenses. So this is where, if you're not hitting your top line number, you have to make adjustments because you can't spend as much money, right? So, we spent $1.27 million less than we thought that we were going to be able to afford. So we made some tough decisions, as well as some changes on the fly that needed to happen in order to compensate for the experience that we were having throughout the year. So I thank you all for being flexible through that, and you guys have done an outstanding job. Everybody in this room has stepped up and taken on more responsibility. We found ways to be more efficient, and